the whole word food is an exciting word to me. I can feel my taste buds getting into action when I just say food. I'm Craig Parker. I'm a chef and owner of the Provender Store. The Provender Store is a store that is based on the farm to fork movement, where we acquire local produce and ingredients, bring them back to the store, and then make wonderful things out of it for the local community. We grew up, our family, on a family farm, and we were surrounded by other farms as a kid. And we grew fruits and vegetables. Other farms around the area raised poultry and livestock, and we traded a lot with other farms as we grew up. So I never recall my mother going out much to a supermarket to buy any kind of thing that we could grow or trade for with other farms. And my father was big on organic farming, and this is actually before the time that organics was popularised. And I remember asking him once as a young adult when I first got into chefing, why did you never use any inorganic fertilisers? And my father's quite a straight up and down person, and he simply told me that inorganic fertilisers cost money, organic fertilisers don't. And so he wanted to grow foods and that as naturally as he could, but also as cheap as he could, and that was the way to do it. And I like those values. I grew up with those values. But it was on a road trip. Dad was a funny guy. He used to pick us up as kids at the drop of the hat and do spontaneous, what we used to call spontaneous camping trips. And I recall as a very young boy going on one of these great and exciting trips with him and stopping by a what looked like a general store, and there was a elderly man and his wife that were running the store. And I remember the smell of that store, of the baked goods, the pastries, and boxes of fresh fruit. You could tell it was fresh, and they had cured meats there, and jars of jam and honey and mustards, and I remember Dad getting some sandwiches and some fresh fruit and squeezed orange juice, and talking to the old man about what he was doing. And the old man told my father that this was a Provender Store, and they were an old-fashioned concept that went back some hundreds of years, predominantly in England, Wales and Ireland, Scotland, and they were a place that the community went for their provisions. What I like to do is kind of focus on the local ingredients and let them, and I know it sounds bizarre, but let them talk to me and tell me what they want to be. So certain things lend themselves to Middle Eastern style dishes. We have some fantastic lamb in this region, as good as I had ever tasted back home. We get our products from a range of different farms in the area. Our mantra is to bring ingredients from 360 degrees of the store, which is one of the reasons why we started our first store here in Waco. I guess I was surprised more than anybody that Waco, I found, was surrounded by the very things I've been looking for a very long time, and that was some sensational family-owned organic grown farms. And so it seemed natural that the Provender Store would be positioned in Waco. A little shop front came up for offer, and I was asked to come and see it. I had talked to a couple of people about this concept, and one of my friends had said, well, there's this shop front that might be perfect for a hole-in-the-wall kind of concept like you wanted to do. And got to it and fell in love with the space, and thought it was quite workable. I was working a full-time job at the time, so I didn't really want something overly big that I'd have to put a big commitment into. I naively thought it would be just a weekend proposition. I'd open up on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, The rest of the week the store could remain closed and no one would be the wiser. But it got a lot of traction. It created a little bit of heart in downtown because it's a family-owned business and it's drawing from local farms, so even folks that are visiting outside have the opportunity to taste Waco, and that's what we kind of feel we do really well, as we utilise a whole range of international techniques from Europe and the Asia Pacific region where I'm from, and we convert these wonderful ingredients to beautiful breads, cured meats, lots of different salads, and lots of different kinds of food which we display on our menu. As a chef, I've always focused on organic ingredients, and usually from family farms, because in this day and age with large commercial enterprises, family farms seem to have very innate values that transpire really well into what they're growing, and the integrity of their ingredients is usually very, very high level.